I know people who got stuff that's for life with them. And it's like, I am so blessed. Like, girl, I should have had everything. I'm just being honest. Everything you can get, I should have had. I don't care if it's an animal disease. I'm just kidding. I've never done it with an animal. Yeah. Welcome to 2190s podcast, Asking for a Friend. I am your host, Nivea, and I'm here with my best friend, So Filthy. What are we talking about today, friend?
Something I've been thinking about that's been on my mind a lot lately is that I guess the question is giving it up on the first date still a controversial thing, or is it more of is that something that doesn't really have a negative stigma on it still? Like, do you think we've grown out of that?
Honestly, I'm surprised if it is. We in 2022. Like, I didn't know that was a thing to be feeling shameful for anymore. But you know, we all know I live in my own world.
But why is there so much shame around women? I think per se, I feel like when men have like one night stands, or not one night stands, but sex on the first date, I feel like it's not a big deal for men. Whereas I feel like with women, it's more of a controversial thing because it's almost like she's looked at as like less respected, or like, you know, you're not really.
Well, I'm gonna go factual with it, which is also something that helped me because, like, bruh, I mean, I don't know a nicer or good way or clean way to say I enjoy being reckless. However, that comes with motherfucking consequences. You understand what I'm saying? So the mature answer of my mature response now is to where it's because it's simply just careless. It is not safe. It's fun. That's the bottom line. And I would say the emphasis more of from my learned experiences is because this is a fact. Men are carriers of STDs more so than actually having it.
That's a fact?
Yeah, men are a lot of, what they call them, STIs now, whatever the fuck, sexually transmitted disease. It's more likely a man can pass it to you and him not have it himself. There are several different ones. And not all of them. I'm just saying you're more likely as a woman, as the receiver, you receive it.
Wait, so,
you know, and they're passing.
So, but you
and
said
they can relieve the situation unfucking harmed, and you taking antibiotics for 2 weeks.
But you said
it's something you can take a pill for.
You said he could pass you something that he doesn't have.
Absolutely, a man can. Yeah, I've had a few scares. Oh, I'm so grateful to God. I hate this. I'm not bragging on them, but I'm so proud because I've popped. In my life, she has had seasons of Poppington, and I'm so grateful because I could have gotten any. You know what I'm saying? I thank God so much that I didn't have to go through that, and I had scares where it's like, girl, look at you. What if it was?
Right. Yeah, I think we all have been there.
Yeah, but I know people who got stuff that's for life with them.
Right.
And it's like I am so blessed. Like, girl, I should have had everything. I'm just being honest. Everything you can get, I should have had. I don't care if it's an animal disease. I'm just kidding. I've never done it with an animal. So I was being funny and saying that. I'm just wild. But long story short, it's just that scientifically, and I think it's because of, you know, the wetness, okay, say for instance, our private parts, male and female, y'all's is already protruding. It's already extended outside of your body. Ours is inner, like you know, moisture. Like, you can go basic with this shit. Like, you gonna lap up more disease and bacteria.
Right. Yeah.
Than open wet hand or a closed dry fist.
Wow.
Who you think gonna get something on it first? Not saying they ain't got nothing on it, but you probably got you lopping up and, you know, taking in a lot. So a lot of men can pass on, as doctors have told me, and other females I know, things to you that was maybe in their system or they came across, but it actually won't affect them at all. They wouldn't be diagnosed with it, wouldn't show up in their blood or anything, but you got it from them in passing. Isn't that interesting?
That is I never knew that.
And so I was so against people saying, well, you the woman. You know, the Bible say blah, blah, blah. You can't, you ain't supposed to take all that. We can do it because we already stick it out. Kind of what I just said.
Right. Yeah.
And to me, that was very ignorant and unfair. But life ain't fair. And if life ain't fair for everybody, ain't it fair? It ain't fair for you. It ain't fair for you. You know what I mean? So it's technically fair. So that's a fact of life at the end of the day. And even when I came to that mature decision, I still was choosing to be reckless when I did. But you have to understand that there are diseases in the world. Human activity, we gonna catch something.
So if you have sex with a condom, don't you avoid that?
A lot of times, a lot of things are past steal.com.
Oh, wow.
A condom is not finna protect you from a lot of shit, honestly. And we all know about that pop. When that hole done happen, you still keep fucking. Hello.
So you're still with the stigma of like no sex on the first day is not a good look?
Absolutely not. You know, hey, I am I'm the rainbow. So a lot of things are believed and not believed, but mostly everything is believed by me. So I'm gonna just say that to say it's just reckless. If you're gonna do it, then you know that you're taking a huge risk. And I feel like on the first night though, so here we go. This is interesting in my mind. I feel like I want to know what it's hitting like first.
And that's what I was gonna get to. I disagree. As a man,
I feel like immediately let me know. I don't know if I want to be your friend or not, or just your friend.
Right.
And if we gonna do that, then I'm like, oh, you're definitely just my friend, baby. That was terrible. I'm be like, I want to be a little more. Or I might just want to be whatever the definition of where I'm going to choose to direct this relationship.
Right.
If it's a sexual attraction, I want to eliminate or decide where that could possibly do or not. Not that even we have to have that discussion. But if there's a sexual chemistry and we're in a moment it's happening, definitely it's time to bust it open. I'm sorry. I don't care. Hey, wait 3 months. So what? And then you waited 3 months and that shit whacked. You could have found out 3 fucking months ago.
We could have been knew that. But I guess another thing that ties into that is not only with, let's just say, women having sex on the first date, also, why is there such shame on a woman initiating sex?
Okay, well, this goes back to a tradition. We're people, we're creatures of habit.
Right.
Which habit is basically another form of what? Tradition. Whatever your tradition is what you were taught, what you practice.
Right.
What you practice becomes what? Your habits.
Right.
So if we're taught, oh, you need to be a lady, close your legs. If we were taught the opposite, oh, girl, sit like that. That's not so you were taught to be respectful and show a little shoulder, but not too much.
Right.
But why the fuck not? You know why not? Because that's called this. Right. If you do that, if none of that shit existed, you and me and whomever else would just act how the fuck they would act. There would be no, a man is supposed to, a woman, that wouldn't even exist. Right. You just supposed to fuck be you, but.
I think one thing that you said that reminded me of something you've always said, and I don't know if you remember you said this to me, and it made so much sense. You said that how we are as people with all these stigmas and all the shame that, of course, we learned it through growing up, but you made a good point to me that how we were as kids, like how you're not scared of anything, you don't think this is disrespect, you just are happy and you're just living life freely. It's as you grow into this tradition that you're like, oh, I can't yell in this house. Oh, I can't tell her I like her because then she's going to say I'm a simp. Or,
what we call an adult that acts like a child?
What?
Stupid, immature, silly as fuck, unfocused, imaginary, delusional.
Right.
I'll take all them titles. I don't give a fuck what you call me because I understand what words mean and what they should mean and what they don't. And when people use stuff for child, y'all can be. I'm American, traditionalized as fuck in many ways, but I am so self-aware of certain things. Not like, oh, I know when something's bothering me. I mean self-aware as the world has decided this, or at least right now, because we fickle as fuck on this fucking planet. Fickle as fuck. I'm gonna make a t-shirt. Any hula bopper, you have to motherfucking decide what's for you, what's not, where you at in life, and where you ain't at. I think that's the gist of most things.
So if you had a friend, right, who maybe she's been talking to a guy, and they haven't met physically yet. Maybe they've been texting, talking on the phone, on social media. So they finally arranged a date. But for her, she's like, I already know I'm sexually attracted to him. And for her, she's like, oh, I want him to try. But at the same time,
Hello.
or she might say, let's say she's like, I want to initiate it. If he don't, I'm going to make sure it happens. But at the same time, I don't want to be looked at a certain way, and I don't want him to lose respect for me because it's been so good. And maybe for her, she's like, I've been in these positions where I've maybe done that and I was looked at a certain way, or maybe I didn't do that and I lost somebody because they would have liked that. Like, what advice would you give that that kind
I know
of
I told y'all Zoe was my best friend, but I really feel like he just exposed me because that is so mean. But to that woman, I would honestly say it isn't a lot of things that we were taught or traditionalized with or programmed with. It's not a negative thing. A lot of times you are supposed to look at those teachings and traditions, and it's not like break the. Yes, it is, but it's also about evolving that.
Right.
Like most things that come from something has a baseline of something that's useful and truthful, right, that is in most instances everlasting, like lifelong. You like the baseline of it. Right. Like a lot of that part applies, but that part doesn't. Right. It's been 1,000 years since that's been set. Yeah, exactly. We need to have that commonality when we considering traditions and values in life and our lifestyles. But I feel like for that type of woman, it's just to be real with herself. At the end of the day, do you really want to look like I got that so easy and quick? Right. I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes you don't fucking care. I don't care what he think. Right. And people need to understand women do think like men sometimes too. I don't care. I smashed him. You know what I mean? He didn't hit me. I got you. I wanted to see what that did. We can't talk. We're not supposed to talk like that. Right. I wanted to see what it seemed like. Like Drake said, one time good enough. Sometimes it be like that for a woman. Then it's, of course, majority.
Or they won't admit
we're emotional in our feelings about a sexual situation, but a lot of times we're not either. So I would say to her, then do what feels right. Listen to your instincts. Yeah. Read the room. Can't you tell if a dude gonna be like, you a hoe or not? You can tell if even, especially if you're having a conversation, you're getting to know somebody. Right. And I have had the experience with friends and myself to go through something that was unique for me. And this is my homegirl as well. She was like, never had a guy basically choosing to wait. The guy. Wow. I'm sorry, it sounds foreign to me and her. We both like, what? But, from his standpoint, was like, I want to get to know you. Yeah. And my philosophy with that kind of is similar when I feel like, we talked about this before, the longer you with somebody, the better everything, to me, is supposed to get. I'm getting more into you. Our dinners, everything is going to be more comfortable, more intimate, more...
See, that's women.
I don't think that's a woman thing. I think that's a person thing. That's a me thing.
Yeah, but I feel like men are boring. It's like we go to the same place every Friday. Quick. Women be like, yep, we're doing our every Friday.
Yeah, I know men oh my God, who wants the same food every day, who wants to go to the same... I know men who...
Yeah, they want...
I think it's people. No,
men... Let's be clear. Men are we are very simple. We can have chicken all week, not McDonald's, but burgers. We're simple. But that doesn't mean that I want to go out with her to Houston's every single Friday. Guess what I might want to do? Can we go somewhere? It's getting boring. Like, even if let's say the woman is cooking the same thing every day, it's still going to get boring. You want to see creativity.
That's what I think it's male and female. Yeah, because I know women who get bored, and I know men who get bored, and I know women who can do the same thing all the time, and I know men who can do... I think that's not, gender-based. But... for her, do what you feel. If you feel like
she knows she's wrong.
Yeah.
You know you're wrong. If you gotta ask.
If you got the question in your mind, like, should I? Sometimes that is the answer.
Yeah. If you second guessing yourself, you already know.
Or I feel like it's safe to do that anyway. Like if you feel like if there's a chance, you may feel like you was too easy, or he may feel like he shouldn't respect you in a certain way, like, then just don't do it. Wait it out. And waiting to have sex is not a bad thing. Like, you
can still have sex with other people.
People act like that's shameful too. Dang, you waited that long. Like, that's not a...
My thing is, I feel like you can... I think maybe as a man, the man in me, I feel like it's a little fair if you're dating somebody brand new. Let's say y'all just met, y'all went on a first date, you like that person, but you're not having sex with them. Obviously, you're not serious because y'all just met each other. I feel like as a man, if I'm horny and I feel like we're not going to do it on the first night and I'm waiting, then what is wrong with going to other places.
A man is definitely gonna go hit it somewhere else.
Yeah, and I'm still
even if
respecting
they
you at
waiting
the
on
same
you.
time.
Even if they waiting on you.
Right.
Here's what I want to throw into that salad bowl. Okay, overall, like it goes back to the same question as to why we have the whole men, what women are supposed to do, what men are supposed to do. It's just not fair. But it is what it is. Some things make sense scientifically or health-wise, and other things, it's a personal choice.
Yeah, well, that's true. Well, look, before we get into your personal experiences, let's take some social media questions from our friends.
Oh, my land.
And see what they have to say. So the first question is from Tracy. Tracy asks, does having sex on the first date lower my chances of having a genuine relationship? Yeah.
Yet again, that's different.
Yeah.
I know people who are married and been together for years and they banged on the first night.
Yeah.
Then you have people like it tore it up. It was an immediately complete view of that person and lesser and unwantedness. So I just feel like it depends on the people involved in the situation. That's not something you can 100% say. If you do it on the first night, you a hoe. Ain't nobody
Not
100. That's not
100%. What they're saying is they're not saying I can't.
It doesn't ruin your chances.
They're saying does it lower my chances?
I don't believe it does. But it could with the wrong person. With the right person, no, it wouldn't.
I feel like,
I've
first
seen
of
it
all,
both ways.
the reason why I'm saying that is I guess I come from more of a like what's common, not necessarily like not society common.
It's common nowadays.
But I mean, what's common in the sense of like we both agree, like okay, having sex on the first date. I think we could both agree that yeah, there are people who have had sex on the first date and lasted for forever, but most of them didn't. It's almost like high school. It's like
That's not.
It's almost like it's like telling somebody in high school like, oh, y'all not gonna be together forever, and then being like, yeah, there are people who've been in high school for that dated and they're still together, but it's like yeah, but that's not a common thing. And then it's like, well, yeah, there are people, and it's like yeah, there are, but it's not common.
Here's what I say to that: find your motherfucking tribe. There are a billion dating apps.
Definitely.
That search of criteria. I like to watch TV every Wednesday at 5:00. I need to find somebody that's okay with that or like that shit too. Period. Meet somebody who don't care if we bang immediately, or if you want to be respectful and wait a year, then find that person. Everything. I feel like everything exists in this universe. It take all kinds to make a world. Shout out to my mama again. So find your tribe and do you.
Right. So the next social media question comes from Crystal. Crystal says, how can I turn my fuck buddy into a serious relationship? The D is bomb, LOL.
I mean, that might be all that is, baby girl. That's a simple conversation. If that you need to know if that person is having more than sexual feelings for you.
Right.
You can fantasize all you want, but if they still on just, dang, the Coochies Bomb, like you saying the D is, then that's maybe just what that is.
And then she's going to end up getting her feelings hurt because
I would just have the conversation.
And I feel like that's how people get, like you said before, that's how people get their feelings hurt. Because if you know that's your fuck buddy, and obviously y'all have had that communication, y'all are clear that that's what it is, why are you trying to make it?
Well, sometimes, we human. Sometimes we feel, and that goes both ways, not just on the girl. However, you got to express that, and the receiver of that need to be honest. There are many times, unfortunately for myself, where you're being taken advantage of, and people like to keep you in a certain space so they can use that.
Definitely, yeah.
Versus saying, I don't really fuck with you like that though. Look, but the D is bomb, like she said.
You hear that, Crystal?
Give me the option.
Right.
Why are you holding me hostage? It's not fair. So I definitely don't do that. Like in retrospect to that happening to me, right. I was in a situation with somebody and they was catching me. So I was like, I mean, it might have been very mean,
right? But
I didn't want to leave a dot of hope of you thinking more than what it was, because that was done to me.
Right.
I would never hold someone captive in that space. That is straight up abuse. So
she should just take it for what it is and respect his choice.
Just ask him. I would ask him how he feels about. Are you catching feelings? You want to make more of this, or is just bomb D and C?
Like, what we doing?
What we doing? Basically. And people shouldn't be afraid of that conversation. It could be, especially guys, when somebody say we need to talk or what we doing, it don't mean you better give me a ring right now. It means I just want you to tell me.
What's the plan?
We ain't doing nothing, girl.
We exclusive?
I'll see you tomorrow and go home. Whatever it is,
right.
Have that honest conversation.
So our next social media question is from Marcus. Marcus asks, what kind of sex is the right kind of sex to have on the first date? Should you go all out with the kinky stuff or play it slow? You should go go all in.
This goes back to reading a room. You know, I just had a flashback. I'm sorry. Let me see. I'm sorry. Oh, my lamb. Okay, somebody get punched.
Oh my God. Okay, no.
Okay. All right. Response. Well, okay, that's where that was it. Whew, my mom was about to cry. Okay. I don't know. My response to that would be, like I said, to read the room. Like, you have to see what somebody on, but a lot of people hide their freaky side. So you really don't know what somebody's down for until you're like in the midst of in the act of it. You like, you try if you want, might get punched in the throat. You might get kicked in the stomach. You never know, child. You're not even correct. I ain't saying like that, you know. Whew. So you just have to be, I think.
Play it slow?
Play it, I would say initially, definitely. You can always let your free flag fly. Oh, that's hard to say. Freak flag fly later on, even if it is the second date.
Right.
But that first one, you have to, you know, like I said, read the room, feel somebody out. You don't want to just be like, I do everything. I be.
So what's the right kind of sex then? Like, what would be the right kind of sex on the first date?
I would honestly suggest
like doggy style.
A method of mine is to let that person lead. If you're really trying to see what somebody on, you kind of let them try you.
As a woman.
As a man or a woman?
I don't think no man is sitting and waiting on a woman to try them.
I know some men
no alpha
that
man
let me
doing
try.
That. Ain't no alpha man.
Oh, yes.
Ain't no alpha man looking at no woman.
I know some alpha men that want it, just like I spoke about earlier, it's still being alpha, but wanting to be dominated, especially sexually.
Yeah,
I know many men.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that I don't think a man is waiting for a woman to initiate. I think most men are initiating.
Oh, my lamb. That's not
I'm not
true.
saying I'm saying on the first date. I'm saying I don't think a man is at the first date like
I used to believe
I'm
that.
waiting for her to open my pants up and suck my dick. I feel like the man is going to be like, oh, why you way over there? Come over here.
I used to
why
think
you
that
acting
too.
like...
I do that more times
I feel like
than
when women
could
do
ever
that to
count.
men instantly think like, damn, she a hoe, she over here like,
No,
I'm finna hit this and I'm at the house.
Not even a hoe, but they are intimidated.
I feel like most men be like, oh, now I ain't even got to watch this movie no more. I'm just go ahead, hit this, go to Chick-fil-A.
Right.
Go to the house.
Several different things for a man with your simple-minded asses. Sorry, I love you, but fuck y'all. At the end of the damn day, you simple-minded asses. Understand it's different bitches for different motherfuckers, and you doing your same old shit for every bitch. Anyway, another subject, another time. Long story short, read the motherfucking room. Everybody's different. You got to figure that out. But I definitely don't think men no longer are wanting or not even so much no more turned off by a woman initiating something. Yeah. A lot of men be like, oh, I like that. She told me I look good. She grabbed me. She said, hey, how you know how many, especially in Atlanta, women will walk up to men all the time in public places and approach them, ask for their number, offer to give them theirs. And it's no longer like, oh, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that? Men are like actually turned on by it sometimes.
Women like, hey, gray shorts.
Yeah, they're like, hey, sweatpants.
I ain't never heard that in my life. I've never
I'm your best friend. How do you never?
I've never seen you or heard you do that. I've seen you do some stuff, but I've never seen you be in Walmart like, oh, he fine, and walk up to him like, hey. I've never seen that, but I've seen
me.
That's what I'm saying. But the thing about you, and that's what I'm saying, when you say you're alpha female, because you are. I've seen you. I know Nivea, and I know that I've seen you in both instances where I've seen you be like, I want him, and it may not be that day, and you might see him again, and he might speak to you, and you be like, didn't I say I want her? But I've never seen you be like, oh yeah, great.
Check this out. That's the battle. This is the point of the inner alpha. Because I've done it so much, probably years before, even though we've known each other for fucking ever, y'all. We over a decade now. Long story short, but prior to that, most of my life, I was like that. And that gets exhausting. I feel the same way for most men. You want somebody else they do now want a woman to say, I'm tired of being the initiator. So yes, I'm very vocal. So I'm gonna say to you, oh, him and his daddy can get. But I'm not gonna walk over there and say that.
Right.
So you're right.
Yeah.
But I want to.
And right, but I'm saying,
but I want the man to pursue.
Exactly.
But in most cases of my life, I pursued, I initiated.
But not in that way.
Not like that, but it's still an initiation.
Yeah,
You
of course.
So I'm taking it on as like what I vented to you, even though I may have not approached it that way. To me, I did that.
Right.
And it's like, I'm so tired of acting like I have penile activity.
So look, the next social media question is from Ayana. Ayana asks, should I throw the guy I'm seeing away if he failed to perform on the first night?
Perform well?
Yes. Like I think what she means is that he failed to perform in the sense of like he couldn't get hard, they couldn't do what they need to do.
Well, here's a scientific fact to answer that question. A lot of things come into play when being sexually aroused for women and men.
Right.
That's why it's difficult for most women to orgasm through intercourse. Like we're more emotionally inclined to be in a headspace, even in intimate, especially in intimate moments. So that is ruining the actual experience of where you should be hard or wet. You're like, did I close the back door? And girl.
They got distracted.
Right. And whereas him, he could have just lost his job that day or he found out his parents sick, anything. But men aren't open to be like, man, guess what happened to me today?
He could have jacked off earlier. He could have
definitely
anything.
Not. And not could have.
You can't do
it.
You can't do everything.
He did. Actually, I know dudes who do that before and it helps.
Yeah, it does. If you want to last longer, it does help if you jack off first. But there are some men who can't.
That's it.
You got like 3 a day, 4 a day now. I can't be. And you might have had your 3, right? And then you get with that girl. You're like, damn.
Like, I ain't know you was gonna give me none.
Exactly.
It's in the rag. My bad. The sock.
Exactly.
But I don't know. I feel like that was the first time, bro. Of course, everybody deserves another chance.
Right.
Now, 5 times in, bye-bye.
Well, this sounds like I know this is something you have experience in. So I've been stopping you from talking about your experience the whole time. So why don't you give us your experience with giving it up on the first night or not giving it up on the first night?
Well, my experience has gone kind of in dual ways. I guess being I'm a relationship girl, and I'm definitely a single girl as well. But when I'm in a relationship, I'm really in it. And when I'm single, I'm really single. So I've had instances in my younger years where it was a lot of recklessness, a lot of, I don't even remember really. And, like I said, it's just completely unsafe. I do not advise that. I'm very fortunate. One of the few. What people really need to look up is the...
STD
sexually trained. I mean, my God.
Especially in
Atlanta.
don't
understand how people ignoring these numbers.
Right.
That means pretty much everybody.
Right. Exactly.
.com. Everybody got something.
Like 1 in 6 people.
You know what I mean?
Like
It's crazy. I was like, this can't be real. So I'm very fortunate, and that's why I was like, I thank God, but I really do. Like, I don't understand it. That is something I'm very, very grateful for because it's almost unavoidable. It's everywhere. I don't know. I feel like that's on you. And if you did that, you have to accept, dang, I make that choice. But that's also a reason probably why you shouldn't. Like, you know better.
Right.
I really don't. I'm coming to it, but I'm not all the way fully behind the know better, do better quote. Because I might know a lot of shit. That's not going to make me overnight or even 1 or 2 years later still do the right or what I'm supposed to do, the better thing. So I would just say, wait as long as you can. Right. But sometimes that when I get that feeling, it really is the right time. I've had one night or one-time encounters that were very, very special and did develop into a long relationship or long-term friendships or whatever. So it's not completely a negative thing.
But it's not. Basically, what you're saying is...
Because I've been on both sides.
I've
been reckless, and I've been like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to just be... I want to do, different spaces you're in your life, and I don't know.
So you're not having sex on no first date as no grown woman. You're not with it, no.
That's...
It's not safe. You said.
No, it's not. But if I'm being honest, I may go on the first date and you can hit. I don't know.
Depend on the person and your chemistry.
It depends, honey. I have been fortunate enough. I still can't believe it. I talk about this to you all the time. I have loved and been in love so many times. I think it is absolutely rare.
Right.
Especially rare. But I really have. And I really did. And I guess some people are meant to, and some are not.
That's true.
Know thyself. Thanks for tuning in, guys, to Asking for a Friend. Make sure you catch new episodes every Tuesday on BlavityTV. Spread the word and tell a friend. Thanks for tuning in to Asking for a Motherfucking Friend. The titties are tittying? Yes, because the gut is gutting. We're in the money. I said, she thinks she got an instrument over here, child.